Hello everyone, and welcome back to Ferry-Morse's 2025 Garden Get Together. I'm your host, Rebecca. Thanks so much for coming back and joining us. So in our last episodes, we got to see Brian from Red Leaf Ranch and Caitlin from My Bowl share their gardening experiences with us. Weren't their gardens incredible? Well, now today I'm going to talk a little bit about what you do once you've had that amazing experience. You've gone through the wonderful process of growing flowers, growing vegetables. Here's some things you can do with the bounty that you've created. So this is all about DIY pressed flower art. So here's what you need. You need parchment paper, tweezers, you need some books, and of course, the flowers that you've grown. So here's what you need to do. So first select your flower heads. And here I have a variety of flowers. I have some cosmos, I have some calendula, I have some bachelor button as well. But start by picking a color story that you're interested in. In this case, I was really excited about the idea of some pinks and purples and whites for spring because it's been a long, cold winter. So this got me excited for spring, this color combination. Now take your flowers. I like to use tweezers to take the flowers so I'm not hurting any of the petals. And then you're just gonna lay them down on this parchment paper, face up. And they're not gonna lay flat perfectly initially, and that's okay. We'll address that in just a minute. But take the flowers that you'd like to press. And I always do more than I think I'll need, just in case some of them don't look exactly how you'd like at the end. Not a problem, because you have some backups. And you just want to space them out so that they're not touching each other, because again, they're gonna get pressed, so they're gonna lie a little bit flatter, and they might touch each other if you have them a little bit too close, and you want to avoid that. And one more purple guy here. Okay, so you've laid them flat on your parchment paper. You're gonna take another piece of parchment paper, put that on top. Now, do one last check. If any of your leaves look a little wonky, you'll wanna just press them down to how you ultimately wanna see them pressed. You can just press them in the middle. Yep, all looks good. Okay, cover that up. Now take some heavy books. You want some decent weight on there, because this is what's gonna provide that pressed look. All right, you're gonna lay them on top. Boom. Now let them sit for at least 2 weeks. 2 to 5 weeks is great, but at least 2 weeks, and then you'll know they're gonna be pressed nice and flat. So put them in an area where no one's gonna touch them, no one's gonna move them, and at the end of 2 weeks, you're gonna have some beautiful pressed flowers. Okay, so it's been a couple weeks. Now we're ready to take our pressed flowers and make some pressed flower art. So here's what you need. A frame. This is an inexpensive frame, and it has one of these backs where you just lift it off like so. You have your mat inside, and then of course your glass or plexi. You're gonna take your flowers one by one, and you're going to lay them, this is the pro tip here, you're going to lay them onto the glass. You're probably thinking, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you lay them onto the backing? Well, this enables me to be able to assemble this back together without having to flip over that frame again and potentially lose the placement of the flowers. So watch, and I'll show you how to make sure you get the placement you want. So again, you're gonna take your flowers, starting here with some cosmos, and you're gonna lay them where you want in the frame. So make sure your mat is down, and that's gonna show you where exactly to place them. You're gonna wanna lay out your flowers within that rectangular of the mat. Face down again, because that's what's gonna be showing when you hang up your art. Now, as far as placing these, honestly, you can do anything you want. This is your chance to get creative, get playful. So this is all about what you'd like to see. I'm sort of feeling the cottagecore mood right now, so I'm just gonna kind of place these casually, organically around the frame. And I think the point of cottagecore is not to be too perfect, so that's a nice excuse not to worry about the placement, right? So just place these wherever floats your boat, whatever looks nice to you. I like doing things sort of slightly asymmetrical. Note, I'm using these tweezers just so I don't rip any of the petals. And I'm just adding contrasting colors here and there. So this is what it looks like in the frame. Now I'm gonna take some bachelor buttons because they're a contrasting shape and size as well. They have a different texture and some different pops of color. But again, you can add whatever flowers that you'd like. We have tons of different flower options for you on ferrymorse.com. Check them all out, and don't forget to use our promo code of TOGETHER. Just for watching this show today, you get to use the promo code TOGETHER for 25% off. And grow yourself some gorgeous flowers. I love the idea of doing something that makes you happy, it's beautiful outside, and then you still get to have further joy by creating art with it indoors too. And being able to save this and enjoy it for longer than just the growing season, you can enjoy it year round. Okay, so now I have my placement. I'm just gonna check, here's the trick, check, make sure you like it. Look at it from underneath. And if you like it, then you're ready to start with the backing piece. So in the case of this frame, it's, you don't want this to show through, right? That's not very pretty. But we can have a real easy solution to that. And that is taking some ribbon, just a little backing ribbon. And again, this is not an expensive frame, so I'm not too concerned if I put a staple through it. I'm just gonna staple it on there. You just wanna make sure you know roughly the dimensions of your mat. You wanna make sure that it doesn't show through the mat. Just on each corner, like so. Easy peasy, right? And then you just take that, place it on your design. And in this case, you really don't need to glue down these flowers because the friction of this frame going on there is going to hold those flowers down. So that's really all that you need to do. And the other reason I like to do it without glue is because that means I can switch it out. When my tastes change or I just feel like trying something different, I can use this frame over and over again. Just try it with different flowers, and then voila, you're good to go. Here's another one I made. You could hang a very nice gallery wall here. Imagine making a few of these with your harvest from the season of beautiful cut flowers. Okay, so we've talked about some art that you can create with what you've grown and enjoy year round. Now here's something that you can create and give to other people. So right now I'm gonna share with you how to create a bouquet from your flowers or wildflowers. So what do you need? First you need some floral tissue paper like this. And what makes it floral tissue paper is that it's water resistant. So you don't want anything that when it gets wet, it's gonna crumble. You want something that's gonna be able to stand up to a little moisture. Also some ribbons. Now in this case, I am using ribbon scraps. I'm one of those people that saves every gift bow that I'm ever given, and I always find a use for them. So if you're like that too, you'll be really happy to have these ribbons on hand that you've been saving for you didn't know what. Absolutely, here's your opportunity to use them. But if you don't have ribbon scraps, of course, you can go and get some ribbon as well. I took this as an opportunity to showcase Pantone's color of the year. A little bit of mocha mousse here. But you can of course choose any color that you'd like. You're gonna need a little bit of Scotch tape and then of course the flowers that you've grown. So first you're gonna take your floral tissue paper. We're gonna make the cone that these go in first. It's easier to make it beforehand than try to do it after you have the bouquet in hand. So again, we're just gonna make a little cone shape and we're gonna take a little bit of Scotch tape to hold it shut in the back so that the front you have that nice view and the back you have the tape out of sight. And then pick some ribbons. I like choosing a few contrasting ribbons and that's gonna give some further interest to your design. So I have this tassely fuzzy one that's a lot of fun. I have more of a basic white ribbon. And then also I'm gonna pick one of these gold color ones too. Again, just to give it a little contrast, a little interest. So I'll have them all together, wrap them around your cone, and just tie a nice bow. Now again, it doesn't have to be anything super fancy. You've already created a little bit of fanciness by having your multiple ribbons here, but you're just gonna tie a bow. And again, this is totally up to you. It's what you find interesting. Oops. And then you're gonna take a little piece of tape and secure that in the back so that it doesn't flip off like it just did for me, right? So then you've got your little ribbon. Again, pick any colors, any textures, anything that appeals to you, or if you know the person you're giving to, what they prefer, it's a nice chance to really showcase that you know their favorite color. Okay, so now we're gonna get to the bouquet building part. So first, take a look at what you've picked from your garden. So in this case, I have more wildflowers, something that are more wispy and ethereal. In this case, you wanna start with your most dramatic color. If you have more conventional flowers, you might wanna pick something that's the biggest, again, another big, bold color, but for your focal point, which is what you're gonna start with, you always wanna pick what is most noticeable. So in the case, again, of something more ethereal like this, I'm gonna pick what I think is most noticeable, which is these little button guys here. And I'm gonna take 3 stems, and this is gonna be at the center of the bouquet. So you wanna hold them in your non-dominant hand, because that's gonna make it easier for you to pick more and spin them. And again, you're gonna build this by twisting the bouquet in your hand so that you know from all angles, whichever the bouquet is viewed from, you're gonna have a beautiful display of flowers. Okay, so I have my first 3 stems. Now I'm gonna add in some filler. And I want contrasting textures and shapes. So I'm gonna add in these white guys here that don't wanna leave. And then I'm gonna add it in, twist, add another one in, twist. And I do find it's helpful to start by having all your flowers separated and in separate vases so you can just pick what you want and then twist and go. So you wanna have this nice layer of filler here. You could also do this with greenery. So if you're growing ferns in the garden, that's a great thing to add. Okay, so I've got my white contrast here and I'm gonna go back to this purpley color. Always great to choose your color scheme in advance and make sure that everything works together well. And when you set things up like this, it's a good way to figure out if it's gonna work together ultimately in a bouquet too. So it's kind of a handy tip to make sure you like the way that it looks before you actually go through the process of making the bouquet. So you can see I just keep on turning this here and I'm just getting coverage of all the colors on all the sides. And that's really what you're aiming for here. So I think I'm good there. Maybe one more purple one to fill this out on the side. So you can see I've really got nice coverage of all 3 colors there. There's contrasting textures and shapes. And I'm just gonna do some final little accents on the outside with these white buttons. They're a little bit smaller. And you could do this with baby's breath if you grew baby's breath. There's all kinds of great flowers. Again, go to Ferry-Morse.com, take our quiz. It'll let you know whether they're perfect flowers for your location, so you pick ones that grow well in your area. And we have 50 new wildflower and flower mixes for you to choose from as well. So many great options as far as flowers to select from. Okay, so now I have my bouquet. You can see it's pretty even all around, right? Now there's 2 things you can do. First you can put some floral tape around this. Most people don't have floral tape at home, so I like to show people a more realistic option, which is I don't have floral tape at home, so I'm just gonna put this in my bouquet cone. Make sure you're sliding it in to the center of it, and it holds it tight for you. Isn't that beautiful? I think anybody would be really happy to receive something like this. It's something that you grew yourself. It's gorgeous. It's from the heart. Really lovely gift. Well, I hope you've enjoyed learning how to make your own bouquet from your own homegrown flowers, as well as learning how to make great pressed art from flowers that you've grown as well. Both would be great gift ideas or something to enjoy in your own home. Now, don't forget to join us on Thursday, our next episode. We'll be back with Caitlin from My Bowl. We'll get a chance to see how our garden is going and see how those delicious green beans are doing. In the meantime, don't forget, you have, just for watching, a 25% off code at Ferry-Morse.com. Thanks so much for joining, and come back and see us on Thursday for our next episode. Happy gardening.